I'm Leah Polk, and this is VCU InSight. Broad Street will be a mess for the next few weeks as the city repaves the busy road. Here's Samantha McGranahan with an update.
Detours and closed lanes are all around us, and as I'm sure we all know, this construction isn't going to take overnight. We are currently in Phase 1 of a 5-phase project. Crews are repaving the eastbound lanes of Belvedere and 3rd Street until the 20th. Then they'll move on to Phase 2, which continues with Belvedere Street and on to Meadow Street. Bus routes, sidewalks, and street parking all the way from 3rd Street to Staples Mill Road will be affected during this ongoing project. This project will be a 24-hour operation until Friday nights and throughout most of the weekend. The work is expected to be finished by June 1st. Until then, drivers should travel with caution while traveling through active paving sites. Reporting for VCU InSight, I'm Samantha McGranahan.
As Richmond grows, the city's voting districts may need to move around a bit. Maya Harrison has more on the city's ongoing efforts to redraw the lines.
Richmond is growing and people are moving around, which means it's time to redraw the voting district lines that we use to elect city officials. After the census every 10 years, it is federal law that district lines have to be redrawn to ensure that equal populations are being represented when it comes to voting. The City Council has chosen this new map. It's not finalized yet. Right now, they're asking for public opinion. If the newly redrawn districts are approved, they take effect on June 22nd. The final day for Richmond residents to comment on the redistricting draft plan is April 25th. For VCU InSight, I'm Maya Harrison.
Car thefts are up in the city and here on campus. Kira Rascona reports.
By the end of March, over 230 vehicles have been stolen in the city of Richmond. That's up over 54% since this time last year. The VCU campus is no exception. Taking a look at the crime logs for March, at least 12 motor vehicle thefts were reported on campus, and there were a dozen other cases where thieves took parts or items from vehicles. Although the return rate on vehicles is high, police say that locking your car is necessary when leaving it unattended for any amount of time. Many of the cases this year have happened when the vehicle owner leaves the key inside, or even in the ignition. So, hide your valuables, don't leave your car running, and lock your doors. Reporting for VCU InSight, I'm Kira Ascona.
If everything seems more expensive these days, it is, as Araya Bryan breaks down the latest inflation figures.
Consumer prices soared a whopping 8.5% increase over the past year. That is the largest increase in over 40 years. The latest numbers are from the Labor Department, which tracks the Consumer Price Index over time. The index measures the cost of goods and services. One of the big drivers of the increase is gas prices. The report shows those are up 18.3% in March compared to the previous month. Energy prices have risen 32% since last year. And meat and eggs, they're up almost 14% this year. For VCU InSight, I'm Ezra Bryant.
Although they missed out on the big dance this year, the Rams basketball team ended the season 22-10. Maxwell Tabor has a look ahead.
After an action-packed year of VCU basketball, the season has come to a close. And with end, some goodbyes and some hellos. Every year, college basketball players from around the country enter the transfer portal for a chance to swap schools. VCU is not new to the transfer portal after losing one of their best players, Marcus Santos Silva, 2 years ago. This year, VCU is losing a few players, Mikel Brown-Jones, Marcus Sahanis, and most notable, Hassan Ward, who is going to take the spot of VCU's star, Vince Williams. Rams will have trouble replacing those players, but on the bright side, VCU has a star from University of Michigan, Zeb Jackson, that was also in the portal. He should bring the points that VCU needs to be a threat. VCU still needs to fill some spots on the roster, so you still might see some new faces. For VCU InSight, I'm Maxwell Tabor.
Calling all fashionistas, a recent funding round shows that the clothing brand Shein is now valued at $100 billion. Jessica Johnson reports.
If you like trendy clothes, you may have shopped with Shein. According to the Wall Street Journal, Shein is now valued at $100 billion. That's worth more than both Zara and H&M combined. This is huge news for the fast fashion industry. A few weeks ago, the funding round raced between $1 and $2 billion for Shein. Shein is known for offering the hottest trends for affordable prices. The online-only seller ships to over 150 countries. Back in the year of 2020, Shein was valued at $15 billion. Some sustainable brands argue that fast fashion will eventually die off due to the importance of environmental impact to young consumers. Reporting for VCU InSight, I'm Jessica Johnson.